Bank holiday Monday, August the 31st, 2020, and after missing a week last week due to bad weather, I've decided to take a walk, unusually on a bank holiday Monday, but that's weather enforced more than anything else. And I'm in Walkern, which is east of Stevenage. So two negatives today. A, I'm walking on a bank holiday Monday, and B, that probably means there's likely to be more people about than I'm normally happy with. So we'll have to wait and see. And C, I'm not far from a big urban conurbation, i.e. Stevenage, and that usually implies more people as well. So this is Walkern Jubilee Pavilion, built in '77, and normally, according to the North Herts Ramblers website, from where I got this walk again, you should be able to park here, but not at the moment because the gate's locked and there's a notice on it. So that's pretty naff. So I've had to park in the one of the side streets. It's not easy parking in this village. So we've got about just over 10 miles to do. Quite a late start today at about 1:15. Weather's okay, which is, as I say, why I'm out today, because the rest of the week looks a bit dubious. And I'm conscious that I missed out a walk last week. I filmed one anyway. So got decent walking temperatures though. Sort of upper mid-60s, that sort of area. So let's get cracking with walk number 85 of the North Herts Ramblers e-walks and see what awaits us. So initially, immediately in front of the pavilion, looks like we're going to be following a path here from Walkern Mill to Bassus Green. Now I remember as a child there used to be a lemonade factory in this village. I think it was Wright's Lemonade, if I remember correctly. I'm sure someone will correct me otherwise. But yeah, it used to be a lemonade factory in this village. Very nice it was as well. And there on my left, straight away you have evidence of an old flour mill, apparently, 1881. I am doing this walk in the anti-clock direction, which is not the way the GPX was done. That was done in a clockwise direction. But for logistical purposes of having lunch approximately halfway through, I've worked that out this week, I'm doing it anti-clock. Now as you can see here, we're on part of the Stoop, Stevenage Outer Orbital Path, which is another variant similar to the hitching one, the hoop. At this point you come to two gates, the one on your left, which is the one we take, not the one on the right here obviously, which goes up through paddocks, and has got a sign on rightly saying no bikes, this is a footpath. Excellent. Now that horse is stood right where I need to get through, in front of the gate. So the horse wouldn't move, and the problem was, if I went to open the gate, he'd have got through it as well. So poorly designed gate, needs one of the circular kissing gates really, because he knows that people pass through that gate, and when they open it, he'll bolt through it. So if a farmer's watching this, or the owner of that horse, note, you need a new gate there, a circular kissing gate. I've had to traipse down the field, climb over a gate down there, which has got wire across the bottom for the first 3 bars of the gate to stop people getting over the gate. So again, not good. There is one of the said gates. Easy to sort the horse problem out. Got a small stream here on my left. Not quite sure the name. Don't know if it's the Beane, but I'll find out, have a look on the map. Yes, it is indeed the Beane. The River Beane inspired E.M. Forster, and it's the Forster Country housing development, which I've mentioned on previous walks, that is going to cause problems up a bit further north from here, north of Stevenage, towards Gravely. Those 800 houses or so that are being proposed. Very autumnal sort of feel to today. Tomorrow's the 1st of September, obviously. Acorns are starting to fall, albeit green ones, but temperature's dropped, and there's, yeah, just a sort of autumnal feel about the place. Another paddock of horses, and this one looks a bit frisky, so have to somehow try and get across here pretty nifty. Not sure if he's been given a bit of electricity by this fence, but he and half looking a bit, yeah. Anyway, rather horses than cattle. Even the other horses are a bit dubious of this one. Not sure why he's shaking his head like that. Yeah. Well, it looks like this is a case of the GPX did follow the original path directly across the field, but we now go round on the right by the looks of things. Interesting bench here on the River Beane next to this footbridge, which I believe is our onward journey. Indeed it is. The GPX was done in April 2012, so over 8 years now. Let's see how accurate it is, as others have been slightly out, but not much. Views back whence I've come even. As you can hear, just about to reach a lane. There is some rubbish dumped. I'm walking up alongside High Wood on the map. Here's a bit of a vista backwards from the earlier part of the journey. Now walking up what could be a bit of a river in rain or after rain. We have ascended a little bit. Today's dizzying height is 427 feet with a low point of 241. So as you can see, reasonably elevated at the outset with some gain. Yeah, more autumnal evidence here with the corn gone, ploughed in. New lot will be sown shortly, unfortunately. As I keep saying, it should be left to the spring. Just passed through Lordship Farm on the map. More horses to contend with. We're faced with two options again here. This one slightly to the left is the one you don't take through this circular kissing gate, but the one straight ahead is the one you do take towards the big house in the back in the distance. And you'll notice a church, which is Bennington Church, in the distance there. You can just see the remains of Bennington Castle there. The only reason I know about that is because it's on the map. Otherwise I know nothing about that place. One for Google if you're interested. And we don't also get to see the church any closer than where I am now. Comes too early in the walk for lunch. That gate looks like it's one under construction. Past the duck pond, walking along the appropriately named Duck Lane. Hence, Duck Lane is nicely tree lined, although the shade from the sun is hardly required today as it's gone in. Perfect walking temperature though, wonderful. So this meeting here of 4 bridleways continues straight on. You now come out into open countryside again. Lovely and peaceful now. No jet noise from Stansted either. Walking through a section of large wheat fields at the moment. So I've left off filming for a little bit. But this is typical terrain of the last half hour or so. Might vary ahead with a few sheep I see. Got another little tributary here of the old Beane river. Absolutely inundated in Himalayan balsam again. Look at it, absolutely chokes the place. Dominates everything. This is the Hertfordshire chain walk again, which we've crossed or walked on a number of times in recent weeks. So we're just walking over it to join our onward journey, which is straight ahead into the sheep fields. I can now confirm that that bird that I've been trying to identify over the last few weeks with the warning note, which it's not currently making, is indeed a nuthatch. So I was right with that, the nuthatch warning note. I've just seen a pair of them going to this oak. Good to know. Sheep everywhere. Better them than cattle though. Funny things, sheep. Don't fancy their drinking water too much. I was wondering where it was. Here it is. I have walked this section before, I now realise. Probably on one of the SWC walks, possibly the St Margaret's Circular or something like that, many years ago. But I did get a bit lost here previously. Our onward journey today, thanks to GPX technology, is straight ahead, upwards through that green lane. Now there's a very cute looking little pink flower, if anyone knows what that is. Sat next to a mushroom, a large mushroom actually. There's another one just underneath here, which is also situated close to mushrooms. So they both like the same kind of soil. So we're now in a small hamlet by the name of Green End, and at this juncture I should be looking for their cricket field and hoping there's a seat there for lunch, which is very late today. Passing a good sized pond on my left, and there is in fact a seat hidden in there facing the pond. Yeah, it's good to know. Not for me, but for future walkers. Hasn't got much of a view though. Needs clearing. Now, fantastic. There's the clubhouse. And the reason I was able to find this, which wasn't shown on the ordinary 125 map or the 150, is because OS Maps, the application that I use and highly recommend, have a feature on it called Green Space, which I haven't used before, I must admit. Now, Green Space shows you all the green spaces like this, some of which may be private, but it shows you green spaces. So I was able to find out that this little hamlet, Green End, has got a cricket pitch, and invariably people like to sit down and watch a game of cricket. There are one or two other seats scattered about, but the pavilion will do me. So, perfect. It's about halfway through the walk, about 5.5 miles in. As I say, you've got a row of seats here, under cover, in case it was raining. Ideal. So lunch is served. Albeit it's 3:30. So, just gone 4 o'clock, and lunch has been had. Once again, no dedication this week. So there's the toilets. They're locked up, mind you. But yeah, handily positioned, this cricket green. So for 20 odd quid a year, I do highly recommend OS Maps app and the PC online version as well. It's very good, and that's where I put my GPXs, the ones I download to follow. Put them onto OS Maps on my phone, and Bob's your uncle. Very good app. Lots of walks on there as well. Many more so than there was about 5 years ago when I first signed up to it. Right, it's going to be a late finish today. Let's crack on. Yet another oak struck by lightning. In fact, it might be an ash, actually, looking at the bark. But I do like the stark contrast with the skyline of these lightning struck trees. So that's the little hamlet of Green End. On we go. We are now back on the Hertfordshire chain walk, headed towards the village of Haultwick, H-A-U-L-T, Wick. Fairly mundane terrain at the moment, ex-cereal fields. Got another bench there just outside Haultwick as well, for future reference. Slightly better view than the duck pond seat. First style of the day, and there are not many left now in Hertfordshire, so I've read recently in the North Herts Ramblers magazine Style, appropriately named. Looks like this would have been a pub at the time the GPX was made in 2012, so that's possibly why they've diverted this way as opposed to doing the obvious route about half a mile back. But yeah, the rest on Welcome is no more, I'm afraid. Not even been redeveloped either. Such a shame that little villages like this lose their pub. Now, as I suspected, and not shown on the Green Spaces map either, there is a seat here on the mini village green. The phone box obviously appears on the OS map, and that's now a library. Yet another one of those phone boxes has been converted to book storage. But yeah, the place where I had lunch was fine. So onward and upward now through Haultwick. Seems to be a village of bungalows, lots of single-storey buildings. Plenty of house martins over there, as you can hear in the background. Soon be gathering together for their... I read the other day that a swallow did a 6,500 mile trip to South Africa. A ringed one, tagged, 6,500 miles, unbelievable. But it was beaten by, what's that seabird that flew 6,800 miles. Let's see if I can remember if I walk on a bit. No, as we leave Haultwick, can't remember for sure, but it might have been a kittiwake. Nests up on one of the Scottish Hebridean islands and was later found all the way in Argentina. Leave the road here to follow Bridleway 10 towards Little Munden. A last view of Haultwick. 4:45. Reasonable views back. There's some jet noise now. Stevenage is afflicted more by Luton Airport than Stansted. It's a bone of contention. Apparently they drop fuel oil before they land. Stevenage gets the full hit. Always amazes me how frequently you see these old railway sleepers in this area used as finger posts. I'd rather see the railway lines myself, but even at the cost of losing some walks on them, I'd rather see the railway lines resumed. So we're at one of the high points of the walk now, about 400 feet. Decent skyline, I guess. Classic large Hertfordshire fields in between, mind. Well done the farmer there for clearing the way, but in fact our journey is left here towards farm buildings in the distance. Lots of smoke there down in Haultwick. Smouldering fire there. Maybe someone's cooking baked apples. Good idea. If so, I know a man will probably better answer that query. Passing through Walkern Park Farm here, marked on the map. I wonder if the noise is the drying machines keeping the, because it's all sealed, this shed, keeping the grain, or warming the grain up from the recent damp weather. It's easy to miss that. And that one marks our onward journey, not the blue one on the black grain dryer. So there you have it. Onward journeys down this lane. Having just walked past Holmes farmhouse, marked on the map, we're now walking down this quiet country lane. Difficult to think we're only about, 6-7 miles from Stevenage. Look how laden that elderflower bush is. There's a feast there for birds or whatever else eats it. It's such a shame, as I keep saying, that we have lost the wherewithal, for the most part, on how to turn that into juice. In fact, upon checking the GPX, it looks like it's pretty much all this quiet lane walking all the way back into Walkern. Just coming up to St John's Wood over there. Very different to the one in NW8. Even the acorns are abundant. Look at them. Brilliant. Wonder if this winter's going to be a harsh one. I say that every winter, but we're due one. Get rid of this virus. In the hamlet of Bassus, Bassus Green. And as you can see here from this very old finger post, 1 mile to Walkern. So at this junction we actually take the left turn towards Clay End. Now the GPX takes you down to that little bit of wood there, where you then join a footpath to go right. However, I'm stood at a footpath here, which is footpath 13, that takes you to the same footpath. So I'm not quite sure why they've walked down there to do a right when you could just walk across this field, which is what I'll probably do. In front of Bassus Green farm with that wonderful barn over there. Look at that. Bet that's old. Still original condition as well. See, that's the GPX route. Now it could be, as the walk was created in April, that once again it was a big field of mud, thus hampering crossing. So they've continued along the road there to join the well-worn path this side. Anyway, you got your options. Solitary crab apple tree in the middle of this big wheat field. Wonder if that's a reflection of times past. As I say, there was a lemonade factory nearby not so long back. Might have made cider, etc. as well. Wonderful. Corner of this field has been given over to sunflowers and wildflower meadow by the looks of it. Brilliant. Some kind of beans, sweet peas in there and all sorts. Thistle. Lovely to see. And our onward journey's evident there through that copse. Onward journey ahead is clear, and there is Walkern in the distance. Lots of new properties being built in that village as well, as you can see. Relentless. So there you have it. I was right about the crab apples. They were used to make cider up until the 50s, and then they ceased making cider and became a soft drinks producer, of which I remember Wright's Golden Lemonade with great fondness. Wonderful that was. Anyway, they ceased trading in the 70s. So pretty much back where we started, 6 o'clock-ish, and 4 hours 16, just over 10 mile later. Not a bad walk at all that, considering the location. Pretty decent underfoot today. Doubt there'd be too many issues in deepest winter. The only sort of obvious field crossings of length, the GPX seems to take you past those anyway. So yeah, Walkern Circular, walk 85 I think it was, completed. And just as I try to finish off, so a helicopter flies over. As I say, the village is mainly known for Wright's cider and soft drinks production, and there are lots of street names, memorabilia to associate it with it. So have a little read of that if you're interested. Walkern. So that's that walk completed, and I hope to see you next time.